What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Chris, 3 years running bestseller at ShineOn. Now I'm the CMO of ShineOn. I wanted to thank you so much for checking out our YouTube video. And if you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video. What's up? How you doing, brother? Oh, you're muted.
Am I on now?
No, yeah, you're here. How you doing, man?
How's it going? Doing well.
Dude, thanks for joining us for a coffee with Michael.
Definitely glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on, man. So for anybody that doesn't know, Travis Petelle is actually one of the ways I kind of found myself in e-com, believe it or not. Travis, I don't even know if I've told you this. Was way back in 2017, maybe?
Yeah.
16?
That was about
you had your farm stuff going on.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I remember you were posting in your face in Kingpinning.
Yeah.
You were posting campaign methods and things like that.
Right.
And you were one of the first people I saw just giving away like super high value information for free. And you really helped me get on my feet. I remember I get messaged all the time by new people saying like, hey, how much to run this campaign or to run that, or how much for ads. And I remember I was messaging you when I was a new person.
Yeah.
So welcome, man.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on, dude. So most people should know. Hopefully people know who you are. If they don't, you need to go check out Travis. Follow his go friend him. He's always posting really cool stuff in his personal profile. He's in the crypto craze at the moment.
I am.
But also in Kingpinning. Kingpinning has been a great group, just full of like awesome entrepreneurial type stuff, mostly drop shipping, e-com, print on demand related. And that was the other thing about you in particular. You were print on demand focused,
right?
Not drop shipping focused.
That was my early days were all print on demand, and e-com drop shipping came a little later. That was it.
Yeah, totally. And then you've also launched a ShineOn course back in the day. It was called Engraving Profits.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You did that with Will Haymerrill.
Yeah.
So,
when you guys had the great necklaces, just the progression of the market, print on demand. From when we were starting, we were doing t-shirts. That's probably when you came and found me.
Yeah. Well, it was the t-shirts and pillows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Then you came a little bit later. So yeah. We were doing Teespring like 2014. So pillows came when Shopify, after like I think 2016 was my first store. And then that gave us pillows and everything else. And now we have great necklaces.
Yeah. And I remember you sharing your man, it's just jogging my memory here. You were sharing like your Google Doc, how you would test different phrases, right? And at the time it was for t-shirts, but you were testing like the I love my Chihuahua, you not so much.
Yeah.
I remember you had this whole Google Doc where you could have all the different dog breeds and the phrases. Right. And I remember just thinking at the time, I'm like, this is, if you're serious about this and you treat it like a business, this is how you become a professional right here. Like,
exactly. And it's the same method today. Exactly.
100%, man. You have to have a plan. You have to have a process and a system. And then you just have to show up every day. That's it.
Exactly.
So before we get too deep into it, everybody knows we like to kick this off with a toast, right? So you got a drink in hand?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got some Gatorade. Gatorade will work.
Sponsorship.
You do not discriminate here with our toast. So raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, or flasks, and join me now for the Digital Marketer's Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs to enabled ad accounts and big bank accounts, upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sales, and to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in your niches, but also your email flows. Are you ready? Drink.
Cheers.
That is how we do it here. So we have got some stuff to cover today. Whoops. There we go. Travis Petelle our guest. He partook in the 100 challenge last year, and he hit a winner. He did like a little over 120K. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So stay tuned if you're interested. We're about 30 seconds delayed here on the chat. Cheers, everybody. Make a song, please. You never know. We've got some talent here. We might just end up doing it. All right, let's get into it. So, testimonials. You know how we like to kick things off. So Anant, congratulations. First order on Etsy. Fantastic job, buddy. You've got some swag coming your way. Somebody from my team will be reaching out to you, and we'll get some swag arranged for you. Then Stephanie here, another order on Etsy. Etsy is going to blow up this Q4. It is absolutely going to be massive. So is Amazon. Any of those other kind of marketplaces, highly recommend you check those out. Plus, what's cool about them is it's basically free to get your listing up there, and you can just juice the SEO. So congratulations, Stephanie. You've got some swag coming your way. Sophie started selling ShineOn products on Etsy 13 weeks ago, live in France. Almost all my customers are in the U.S. This is totally doable. $1,100 in profit. Congratulations, Sophie. And English isn't even her first language. I love to see that, man. I love to see people just breaking through the walls, right? Like not letting limiting beliefs or anything like that hold them back. It's awesome. So congrats. You got some swag coming your way. And then Elias just crossed 100 sales on one product. Congratulations, man. That's how you do it. You hit a winner. 4.4K profit, 6.8K revenue. Thanks to Kirsta for showing me the way. I was just talking to Kirsta today. Fantastic dude, knows his stuff. So pay attention to his posts in the group as well. So Elias, you've got some swag coming your way, buddy. Keep an eye on your IMs. Congratulations. Let's give them a little round of applause in the chat. Let's get some those hand emojis going on. Here we got all our. So we have this running joke kind of on my Coffee with Michaels with these chickens, man. I don't even know quite how it started, but I have forgotten.
I see them popping up constantly down here.
But the chickens are all over the place in my Coffee with Michaels. All right. I think I made some joke about chicken nuggets or something one time. Okay, so quick announcements, and then we're going to get to the meat here. So we have been working our fingers to the bone over here at ShineOn for you guys. We've been working our aces off, and we have put out some really cool stuff, and I want to make sure that nobody is missing it. So first of all, storefront. So now with your custom domain, you can have your own storefront where you get to actually load your products on it. You get to customize a little bit, things like that. So if you have sellers that go to your product page from one of your ads, let's say, and they get curious and they track back to the root domain. And in my experience, this happens with about 3 to 5% of all your visitors. You're now going to have a custom storefront so you can still retain the sale, right? They can shop your other products, something like that. It makes you look more legit. They're going to be more likely to buy. So if you don't have your storefront set up, make sure it takes 15 minutes to make it look pretty good. It's worth the investment. I'd go check that out. Next, we have the Luxe box for the watch. This will add $20-30 in revenue to your watch sales. So the watch already sells between $60 and like $80 AOV, kind of depending on the marketplace and how you're positioning it. With the Luxe box, you can get another $20-30. So you can get 3-digit AOVs out of this product alone without any other upsells, without any post-purchase items or anything like that. So this is amazing, especially in Facebook where your CPMs are getting higher and higher. So go check out the Luxe box for the watch. Next, we've got Luxe box for a bunch of products we didn't have in the past. So I don't know if you remember, but we didn't have the Luxe box for the Giraffe, Forever Love, Scripted Love, some of our other more popular products. We now have the Luxe box for a bunch of additional products. So make sure if you have a product that fits in one of these over here, go look at it. Make sure you have the Luxe box added. And if you don't, go in and add the variant product to it so that you can make some additional money on Luxe box sales. Then we have the Infinity bracelet. This was a new product that we launched, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. If you didn't see the post in the group or get one of our emails, this is your notice. Heads up. Go check it out. This thing is personalized. I think we're going to sell a metric crap ton of these on Etsy. It's a perfect product for Etsy because it's got some engraving elements. Plus, all these little medallions here are hand stamped. And I mean that. Like, we literally have people sitting there with hammers and the tools, and they're like hand stamping all these. So go check it out. It's really cool. Next, we hired Jim Carmella, who's a new director of media buying. So I made a big post in the group about Jim. Jim was one of the first guys to drive $1 million in revenue. He was the first guy to drive $1 million in revenue to Teespring with ads. He showed Teespring. He told Teespring what a pixel was and helped them implement it. He spent like $15 million of his own dollars on Facebook ads before. He's driven like, I don't know, $24 million in revenue. This guy is just, he knows his stuff. He's an absolute professional. He's like a mad data scientist. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. Mad data scientist written all over his face. He's an awesome dude. So he's been posting shots of espresso in the group and things like that. So make sure you've got your eyes peeled for him because he's dropping some crazy, crazy knowledge bombs. All right, then shots of espresso. So we've been publishing guides about once a week now to kind of help you on your journey here with selling ShineOn stuff. You can see Jim here. He's made some of these guides. He had a real popular one last week where we finally fixed the tracking issue with iOS 14. We basically cracked it. I mean, our tracking now is near 100% accurate with iOS 14. The optimization isn't really happening because that's kind of on the Facebook side and we can't really control that. But the tracking is fixed now. If you want to learn how to do that, go check out bit.ly, bit.ly/shot of espresso, and you can download some of these guides. Again, the iOS 14 one is called How to Win the War on Tracking, but we have a bunch of these now. And stay tuned. There should be one coming just about every week going forward. And finally, our last one. Important update. So on September 7th, right here, we're going to be making a little bit of an update to the platform. So currently today, the drop-down selector up at the top of the screen will show you what we call kind of a root domain and then your custom domains that hang off the root domain. And don't get twisted up in the language there and the terminology. It's not super important to understand. Just know that like today you may have custom domain 1 and 2, and you'll see that'll roll up to ShineOn. And then you have custom domain 3 and 4, and that rolls up to another one called handcrafted order. Let's say. In the future, you're not going to see ShineOn or handcrafted order. When you click that little drop down, all you're going to see are the custom domains, right? Plus, when we have our Etsy integration go live, which should be hopefully within the next week or two, you'll also see your Etsy store in there. So like that's going to be kind of almost like a store selector. You're going to be able to hit the drop down, select any of your custom domains, select any of your stores, that kind of thing. And when you do though, like your entire platform experience is basically going to filter around that custom domain. So all your analytics are just going to be related to whatever you've generated on that custom domain. Same with your products. So you're only going to see products that are hanging off of that specific custom domain. So it's genuinely going to be like a store selector in the future. So that's coming on September 7th. We're going to have a little banner in the platform so everybody knows. The next thing that's super important about this update is you will be required to use custom domains starting September 7th onwards, right? So basically, you're not going to be able to just publish a product and then run campaigns to shineon.com/your product anymore. You're going to be required to have a custom domain. You won't be able to publish any new products to the root domains. Everybody should be moving to custom domains anyway, especially with Facebook. You have to have your domain registered and in Ads Manager in order to get your pixel set up and to track data and all that anyway. Everybody should be there, but we're just announcing it. We're trying to over-communicate here to make sure everybody's safe. You don't have like campaigns running or something when we make these changes. So heads up to everybody. Those are two important changes coming very soon. So let's talk about the 100, 100, 100 challenge. Before we do, let's just check the comments here real quick. Doing okay, Travis?
Doing good.
All right, man. It's going to be you and me in 30 seconds.
Sounds good.
All right. Everybody's excited. Lots of energy today. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
Okay. The 100, 100, 100 challenge. So what is it? Well, it's 100 days where you can experiment and test with 100 designs with the goal of making $100,000. That's it in a nutshell. It's a plan right there in a nutshell. So you have 100 days in the run up to Q4 right now, right? You have roughly 100 days before like kind of our shipping cutoff period in Q4. During this time, if you can test one design a day, right, you are going to dramatically increase your chances of hitting a product that you can do $100,000 on. Now, I recommend everybody test on Facebook. Right? I think Facebook is where it's at. Facebook is still the king of scale. It's the only game in town, as far as I know, where you can take a product from literally nothing to $100,000 in just a few days, right? However, if you don't have the budget for that, you can do this on Etsy. You can do it on Amazon. You can do it other places. The main goal here with the 100, 100, 100 challenge is I'm trying to give you a plan and a system to take action, right? Show up every single day, take massive action. And the goal of hitting $100,000, it's within reach. You can absolutely do it 100%. It's not that difficult. You just need a plan and you need to show up every day and take action. So that leads me to Travis. So Travis last year saw me posting about the 100, 100, 100 challenge in the group. And it was simple. I laid it out just like I did to you. We have 100 days. Let's test 100 designs. So one design a day. And my goal is to make 100K. That simple, right? And Travis took the bull by the horns and went after it. And he found his design and he did over $120,000 in revenue on the one winning design that he found. So I want to talk about this a little bit. I'm not going to read his post here. You can go search for it in the ShineOn group if you want to look at it. Here was his winning product that he found during his challenge. And so, Travis, let me pull you up now. And let me ask you, first of all, is this, from your perspective, is this a reasonable, doable challenge for a complete and utter newbie?
100%. Print on demand has always been what I've suggested for anyone that's just starting, trying to make money online, because the investment's low. The skills you need are very low. It doesn't take, you would think, a really good design and graphic skills, but it really doesn't take that as long as you choose the right product. And I mean, it was even when this challenge was going on last year, I had not done print on demand in a year or 2 years. I had a baby and I just had not really worked. And then ShineOn released those necklace boxes and your challenge was coming out. So it kind of gave me a perfect storm to try this out of what you guys are doing. And it's just the same as we were doing, 5, 6, 7 years ago, of having that consistent system, consistently improving and, following that metrics that you set.
Yeah, dude, I love it. So you basically were, you weren't a newbie because you've had lots of experience, but you were rusty, maybe.
Yeah.
At least that would be fair.
Well, I didn't know what designs were selling. It was pretty much starting from scratch, because every couple months, the designs that are going to be hot, it's like you're starting from scratch if you're not in the know. Same thing with the design or the products themselves. Your necklace boxes were really new and they offered such a huge profit margin compared to anything else in the print on demand space. It was almost a no-brainer, and they still hold that value. You keep on adding new products, new perks. It's like there's nothing better for print on demand. And it's just that same system that, keeps on bringing them, brings the winners in. Yeah, dude, I freaking love it. So let me ask, so I kind of gave people a lot of freedom and flexibility in how they executed the challenge, right? The idea was, though, over a 100-day period, you test 100 designs. Right. So it could be you test 7 a week. It could be you test 1 a day. It could be you test 30 a month. And you just it's kind of up to you to choose your path, so to speak. Can you tell us a little bit kind of about your process and your system and how you went about it? Yeah, even before you had started that challenge, I'd always told my students and people I were training, it's going to probably take you 100 designs. And in that 100 designs, each one, if you're going to hire a designer, is going to cost you $25 to $30. And then you're going to have $50 to $75 of ad costs for each one. So theoretically, you're looking at a large $10,000 ad spend to find that one winner that's going to make you $100,000. But what really happens is, in the challenge, I found my winner in the first $2,200 spent. And the designs I had tested up to that point, a lot of them made sales. Some of them were almost at break even. So it's not like we were just in a complete loss. It was about that consistent launch plan. And that's how you run this, like you were saying earlier, a professional business. It's this 100-day challenge, but you're doing it consistently and always. You always have X amount of designs you're launching each week. Each design follows the same step-by-step process. Yeah. The Facebook system, that was where the liberties came out. I used your ABO style that you were using, because I hadn't used Facebook ads in like 6 months, maybe 12 months. You know how that evolves and adapts. Yeah. So I started with your system, and then once we got, just the data coming in and the buyers coming in, it was just kind of put the gas pedal down and duplicate, launch as many ads as you can. That's what scaling with Facebook ads is. So. Yeah, dude, I love it. So I want to talk about the budget real quick, because one of the things people, especially when they're new and, they're just getting on their feet and they don't totally understand how all this works yet, they hear, holy crap, I got to test 100 products and go, I don't have that kind of money. But what people don't really understand is that not every product is a complete dud,
right?
Exactly.
So a lot of times what happens is you'll launch a product and you'll get a sale or 2 sales and maybe you lose $17 on a $100 test. You know what I mean? Then you launch another product and you break even on that one, but it doesn't really scale. And then you launch another one and maybe you make a little bit of money on that one, but again, it's like it just won't scale, right? And then maybe you lose on a few, whatever. But over the time, it's not like you need to have $10,000 set aside for 100 tests. It's not how it works out.
Well, in the program, I did most of the designs myself too. So a lot of that money was not even spent, wouldn't even be needed. If you're doing, with these designs, with like you talked about a lot, it's about the message even more so than the picture design itself. So with our testing process, to kind of cut down on budget and needing extra outsourcers, we kept it very simple template during the testing process. And then once we found a phrase that took off, then we started playing with an actual designer and hiring them to do nice graphics and updating and optimizing. And that's how we kind of and continually boosted our profit from just finding that initial first phrase that kind of showed us promise.
No, dude, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. So for everybody listening, we just launched a shot of espresso guide a few weeks ago about crafting the perfect design. And one of the things we talk about in the design is what we called rapid testing, which is where you have the template, just like Travis said. You have kind of a design template, and then you're just throwing different phrases on the template, and you're testing the phrase. And when you have something that hits, then you can start to go out and get other designs. So it's not even like every single one of these needs a new graphic design. Really what you're testing here is a phrase. You're testing the phrase really more than anything.
If you focus on the graphic side, as me, I love graphic design, so I like to do it a lot. But if I focus on the graphic design aspect and I'm trying to create the best thing right at the beginning of your time, you're going to spend 80% of your time doing the graphic design. And you need to be all about getting the products out. You got to test. You got to hit that 100 in your time frame of your X amount each week or each day or whatever. And that's how you get that consistent winners that start to stack up on each other. And it becomes a very simple system after you get it going.
Yeah, man, 100%. And keep in mind, if Facebook still is if it's just not in the cards for you, and I get it. I mean, some people just, they're not in, they don't have the media buying kind of thing going on. And I totally understand. Still, I would encourage you, participate in the challenge, but throw your 100 phrases, your 100 designs, right? Your 100 products, throw those on Etsy, throw them on Amazon, put them somewhere, right? The idea is you take massive, massive action right now because Q4 is the Super Bowl of e-commerce every single year. I try to tell people and you will be able to speak to this for sure. People just they literally cannot fathom the opportunity that is Q4. Millionaires are made, new millionaires are made.
Right. This moment now is when you find the product, you've got a month and a half really. And then that next month and a half, 2 months, it's just, again, gas on the pedal. So that's the whole launching consistency, because if a month and a half of launching even duds, you're going to see some that are showing promise. You're going to see what's kind of the angle we're going to focus on a niche maybe to focus on. Just be one step ahead. And like you said, I mean, millionaires are made from nothing at this point. It just takes action. People are buying almost anything at this time of year. So
seriously, the times when I had my first winner back in 2017 or whatever it was, I remember I was just so hungry.
Right.
Like I've talked about it on this on my Coffee with Michael bunch. I was so hungry to hit a winner because I could see everybody else with these big revenue numbers, and I knew it was just it was right there. You know what I mean? Right. It was I just needed to get a hold of it. And I remember it was December 5th, and I was just I was losing sleep. I couldn't focus in my full-time day job. And I remember that's when I got nuts. I was like, okay, I'm getting up early for at least 3 hours before I go to work. All I'm going to do is test phrases and designs.
Right.
I would take a lunch break. And what I would do on my lunch break is I would drive to the parking garage all the way to the top floor. And I'd use my phone as a hotspot. Right. And I'd connect to the internet and I'd run ads and I'd make more designs and things like that. I'd stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning. I mean, I literally just went nuts. And in a very short period of time, I tested 50 or 60 designs just because I was just so hungry to make it work. And then finally one cracked And that's when I had my first big winner that I took to like 35K in a day or something like that. Awesome. But like, it all came down to action, right? Yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen somebody that made the strong kind of commitment and had the grit to show up every single day and had a reasonable level of intelligence where they could at least spend some money and kind of learn what ads manager was telling them and change things according, that didn't eventually find some amount of success, right? And I'm not making any guarantees about any of that stuff. I'm just saying, like, the people that take action generally are the ones that find success. It's never the other way around.
This is a numbers game. It's the system repeated enough times, it works. As long as you're constantly improving on that design, because the design's everything with print on demand. With anything you're selling, that we know the necklace piece is going to sell. It's nice. People will love it. But it's that design aspect, the phrase in our case, T-shirt, different aspect. But that leads the way. So
tell me, what are you planning to do this year?
Well, I'm going to pretty much follow very much a similar plan where I'm doing, choosing a good 3 to 5 niches I'm going to focus on. I'm going to do massive research in each of those and come up with a good 20 to 50 designs in each. And that will kind of be my consistent weekly launch. I like to launch each Monday or Tuesday and then let this ad sit 3 or 4 days, make my decision at the end of the week. Things that are working, we move on to phase 2, phase 3, and so forth. But every design follows that same process of research, creation, upload, and the testing phase. And so you kind of rinse and repeat it.
Just a plan to consistently launch every week. Exactly. So how do you organize and keep track of it all? Do you use Trello, a spreadsheet? How do you do it?
I like Trello. I've used many times. I usually use Asana these days, which is just very similar to Trello. But any type of, even just a spreadsheet, just however you can organize it for you and your team or whatever you're using, use that. Because, again, it's very simple steps. But when you start popping out like 30 designs in a week, you're going to overlap. You want to really plan ahead. And again, on the budget side, if you are low budget, you got to be thinking about that too. If you have 30 designs, but you don't have $3,000 to do the testing budget, you might want to only launch 5 or 10 and then hold off just in case things do go off and you want to scale something. You won't have that budget to push forward. And like you've been mentioned, Etsy, you should do all your designs, even if you're launching on Facebook and Shopify or anything like that, put them on Etsy too, because that's just extra sales. It's organic. I mean, there's no reason not to. And I know many people who do 6 figures a year easy just from Etsy and organic traffic, no advertising. So that's kind of part of our process after we launch, as well as getting our designs out to all the other platforms, our email, our Etsy, or Amazon if we're going that route, Google Ads if we're doing that,
Yeah, I dig it. So let's go back to your spreadsheet real quick. Yeah. Give me, if you can, man, give me some specifics. Like, what data points are you tracking in that spreadsheet to make sure you're not just getting lost in the volume of all the tests and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much we have our amount of designs we want done per week. So that is number one. That kind of controls all the outsourcing or the research, the design aspects that happen up to that. Then we have the advertising side. Each one, we're going to try and hit a 2x budget. That's how much we're going to spend. That's how much we test. If we're breaking even or above, we keep that on and moving forward. Even if something's made a sale, or even at that amount of point hasn't made a sale, but showing a lot of promise, I'll even maybe let it go on a little bit further. But we try and not break from those initial testing rules. So if I want to spend $70 per ad test, I don't want to go, 140 on one and then 50 on the other. We're trying to always stick with those kind of guidelines we preset to kind of move forward. That allows us to take emotion out of the game. As with anything with making money, you want to definitely do that, because a lot of times we'll get stuck on our own designs and you'll maybe spend $300 or $400. Oh, it's going to sell. People are going to love it. I love it. But it's the market will tell you. So you got to stick with that system and those metrics.
Totally, dude. And I love it too, because it's just, you can hear when you're talking how like just kind of focused on the system you are. Like you have an exact budget for every single test, and it's important to you that they don't go over or under it. And you try to launch things at the same time, and they try to evaluate them at the end of the week at the same time, that kind of thing.
When you keep your numbers that static, what you can do is then you can kind of guess early, because you'll see the cost per click or the cost per add to cart or the percentages, and you'll be able to see within $10, oh, we might be onto something, you know, and then you can push more. Or if it's going the opposite way, you might be able to turn off, you know. I turn off early a lot too if things are not panning out for it. If it's just crashing or whatever, I'm not going to spend 70 when I can shut off at 50. But those kind of things will give you a little bit of indicators.
Yeah, and a good, you know, you also kind of have to know your niche to do that, because each demographic performs a little differently on Facebook.
Exactly.
This is why, you know, my IM algorithm method, I was able to work with 250 to 500 ad sets at a given time every single day, is because like I would literally watch them like a day trader watches the stock market, refreshing ads manager every 10 or 15 seconds. And I would kill all the ad sets that weren't meeting my KPIs that I'd set for them. But the thing was I could only do that because I knew my niche so well. I knew when one of those ad sets were popping off, and I knew when one of them was losing.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So let's talk about product research real quick. How, you know, where do you like to find your phrases? How do you do that?
Usually if I'm entering a market and I don't know it well, you know, if you know it well, you can often just get creative on your own front. You'll know the vocabulary people are using or the phrases or the tendencies that they relate to. But mostly with my research, it will be starting with Etsy. Always a great place to get opening ideas. As you're searching on Etsy, you're going to start being advertised a lot on Facebook and on Google, and Twitter even has some really good examples will pop up. And then I like to use spy tools as well, like Ad Spy, to give me just an idea of what is kind of popping off right now, something I can take and kind of mimic, but create with my own flair, or change the words a little bit, the same sentiment or the same micro niche they might be hitting, you know, try and catch that wave. But typically I find most of my best stuff by just when I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see an advertisement and the design is horrible, or it's a phrase on a different type of product. I'm like, that would work really well in a message box. And it's just like kind of taking other things like your Frankenstein messages as well, comboing them up. These days, we've also been hiring others that are doing like the greeting cards. So people that write poetry,
writing,
or copywriting, just with a romantic type of tendencies. With just, you know, 10 words, 20 words is all we need. So throw me 100 every week, giving us new stuff. Because, you know, I mean, you think about the greeting card industry, which I was going to do a video for the group here and soon. I'm going to the local Target and I just read all the greeting cards. I take pictures of every one of them. And that's another way I research.
I love that.
It's actually how you get some of the great ones, because it's not what's just been rehashed a million times online. It's what someone's being paid. And greeting card writers get paid like $60,000, $80,000 a year to write these things consistently. So, you know, these are new, fresh ideas that you can find in any, you know, local market.
Dude, I freaking love that, man.
Yeah, it worked.
Anna recommended, I don't know if you know Anna Beck, but she recommended, she likes to go to Google and she'll type open letters, like open letter to daughter, open letter to wife, whatever. And I was like, holy cow, that's a great one. Packed with gold, you know?
Yeah.
But like really the greeting card spaces too, especially if you can get into some of those more boutique-y greeting card places or something like that. Like you can find some really good turns of phrase.
Right.
They will make great punchlines on your message card that aren't really used anywhere else.
Exactly.
So something you mentioned was like you try to keep an eye out for something where you can kind of bring your own flair into it. Like how important is it to you to be able to like not just kind of rehash, I guess, what you see out there, but to try to bring something kind of fresh to it.
Yeah. Well, it's like you never want to copy. After doing many years of this and many people copying your designs, you'll have that same sentiment. So you don't want to just outright copy someone, but it is part of the game to get ideas from someone who maybe you could do it better from. So in the design that you were kind of showing there, I had gotten that idea from a Facebook advertisement that was a similar phrase. I mean, it said, you know, not anything close to the same words, but the same sentiment of how keep this close to your heart was kind of a call to action. I use that kind of same sentiment. It's from your tummy was a new part. All the flair and the designs, it had a really poorly done graphic of 2 baby feet that were not even lined up right. So it was a very poor graphic design. The message, the font was bad, but there was getting a huge amount of engagement on the post in an early kind of post. So I just kind of took that, added the hearts, added the color, changed the words, and then we did our testing on the different necklaces, and that kind of brought us to where it was. So again, we don't ever want to copy outright, but it is improving upon. And many times you're going to find designs in other products that might not have been used on a necklace box or whatever you want to put it on. It's a good transition.
Yeah, no, I dig it. And you're totally right. Like you will, if you're new here and you find some design, some phrase that's just popping off, I'll bet you dollars to donuts. If you just copy the phrase, you're going to get your butt handed to you. Yeah. Because Facebook, first of all, I'm pretty sure that Facebook scrapes all the phrases anyway, and they kind of know when you're running with the same kind of words and things like that. I think that's going on anyway. So Facebook can look at all the advertisers out there running ads against the same phrases, and I think they're going to give preferential treatment to whoever stuff is converting the best, right? Because Facebook wants to protect the user experience. Now that's just kind of theory. But besides that, you've got to remember that, like, if there's a good chance if you're seeing a phrase and you already know it's winning, that guy is already spending so much money on the phrase, you're just never going to catch up to him. Right. He's going to dominate market share. But what you should do, try to ask yourself, why is this working? Right? Like, what about the phrase is making it work? What about the design is making it work? And then see what kind of original or what kind of flair you can bring to it, how you can kind of spin it just a little bit and either take it to a different segment of the market or breathe fresh life into it. That's really what
Ronnie had a lot of great points of how to do that too. Was just like changing the top phrase to be something a little bit more snazzier. My super hot wife. Yes. Instead of just to my wife. Also, the image that he'd put would be something unusual but unique and related to that design specifically. Those are things that a lot of people don't do. You'll find a lot of designs just with a phrase and it's a white box, where you can take that phrase and make something that fits that theme of whatever they're saying. In this case, like a baby feet. Now, like a company came and copied my design concept. They took it their own route and they made a trinket of baby feet, and they sell that with it instead of our necklace, which was the ideal necklace piece to kind of move to with that design. Now, even though this company is far bigger than me, they make, I'm sure, thousands of sales every month with it. I'm still making sales on my necklace just with like a $10 a day Google ad I have running with nothing else for months. So,
you're still making money on this thing?
What's that?
No way. From last year, you're still making money.
Yeah, I've not turned it off because I keep making money. It like does 3 or 4x every month. So just the Google ad is so smart. It's so optimized over time. It just works. I'm fine. Like they're selling to people internationally now. They're going all around the world.
Brother, I freaking love that, man.
It's awesome. Dude, a couple extra bucks every day just coming in from it.
Dude, that's the dream of the challenge. It's like get your process, get your system, get your plan, right? Dedicate yourself to making 100 designs over the next 100 days. And again, if Facebook's not your forte, put them on Etsy, put them on Amazon, try some other marketplaces, make a Facebook shop. You know what I mean? Like look, the time is going to pass anyway. Before you know it, it's going to be January 1, 2022, right? The time is going to pass anyways, no matter what. We're all going to find ourselves there. Would you rather spend the next several months learning, growing, challenging yourself in e-com, giving yourself an opportunity to add 5 or 6 figures to your bank account, right? Or would you rather spend it eating Cheetos and apple pie and stuff just like you do every other year and have an ordinary, normal life come January 1, right? It's like, why don't you just take the challenge, right? Go ahead and make the commitment to give this a shot. It's not that hard either. It's 100 phrases paired with maybe 10 designs, because you can do the templates, right? Throw them on Etsy, throw them on Amazon, learn about Facebook ads, throw them on Facebook ads. You never know how your life might change. I mean, I will tell you that My first winning product completely changed my life. So put my life on a completely new trajectory because there was this mental barrier that just kind of opened up where I suddenly realized how much opportunity was out there. It was like that red pill moment in the Matrix, right? Red pill, blue pill. And it was like suddenly I saw the code in the Matrix everywhere I looked. Like that's what we're talking about here. This is life-changing stuff. So everybody,
if I can add on to that,
go for it, brother.
When you find that first winner, all of a sudden, like it's limitless in your fingertips. You can go as high as you possibly can, just depending on how hard you're going to work or what you're going to put into it. That's what you kind of realize. Whereas all of our lives, jobs and working for others, doing things, you get that kind of limit of what you can actually earn no matter what you do. When you break this in your mentality, you know, like you did 35,000 in a day or two or a week or whatever with that first one, right?
Yeah, it was a day.
And that's how quick it goes. And all of a sudden, well, you can do 100 grand in a day if you really plan it out and do it right. And then that's the mentality barrier is gone.
It's just you suddenly realize that you can unhook time from financial gain, right? Like most people, that's linked. Like if you want to make more money, you got to work more. You have to trade time for money. But like e-commerce isn't like that. E-commerce has leverage, right? And you get to pull that apart, and your time isn't connected to money anymore. Instead, it's your creativity. It's your ability to problem solve or to stay up with trends on Ads Manager. It's your ability to find new phrases. It's like you're developing a skill set, and then hopefully, if you bring that skill set to bear in the marketplace in the right way, you'll be directly rewarded in proportion to how much you've developed that skill set. Right? The skills start to pay the bills, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, brother. All right, let me pull this back up for a minute. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to quickly recap kind of the 100, 100, 100 challenge, and then we're going to move into some Q&A from you guys for Travis or about the 100, 100 challenge, things like that. Travis has a wealth of e-commerce knowledge here. You've even sold stores, right? I mean,
I've done it all at this point in the space. So
I mean, like
quite a few stores actually in the day.
Yeah, and how many info products do you think you put out? Like,
I mean,
20 or 30 or something?
Yeah, in my early days, I was popping them out left and right. So
my point is, you're like a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a solid decade now, and in all different departments. I started consulting other business by adding email marketing to local businesses' plans, and I just called door to door, went door to door, and sold my services. Then we went into digital products because I was a personal trainer and I was trying to sell workout courses online, and that kind of gave me the insight of online marketing. And then a couple of years after that's when print on demand, I found that with Teespring, then e-com, and that's the rotation.
Yeah, brother. I freaking love it, man.
Yeah.
So guys, get your questions spooled up, start dropping them in the comments here. In just a few slides, we are going to be talking to Travis here, and we're going to be answering your questions. So let me get this back up real quick and pop over here. All right, so quick, let's talk about the 100, 100, 100 challenge. What it is, it's 100 days between now and like the shipping cut. It's roughly 100 days between now and shipping cutoff in December. The goal is to test 100 designs, make 100 designs, make 100 phrases, make 100 products in this time, right? Now, designs, right? Just don't get too hung up on the word. It's kind of synonymous with this whole kind of thing we keep talking about. It's about phrases. It's about, matching the phrase with an actual graphical design and a necklace product, that kind of thing. The idea is that you have 100 days, and in this 100 days, you're going to set out to test 100 designs, right? And the goal is to make $100,000. So the idea is that somewhere in here, in these 100 designs, you're going to find one winner that it's going to take you to $100,000. One winner that's going to take you to $100,000. I will tell you that last year, I set off to do this challenge myself. Now, I was very distracted last year because I actually have a job here at ShineOn. I can't just do the media buying anymore. However, I was able to find a winner. I think it was like I didn't get very far. It was like my 11th test or something like that. I was able to find a winner, and I took it to about $35,000 in revenue with the one winner. And that was like part-time, guys. Like I couldn't focus on it very much. I was only tweaking the ads like a few times a week. I mean, it was really, really sloppy. But my point is, that's the potential that's out there, right? Like I kind of accidentally stumbled into it last year, and I still drove something to $35,000 in revenue. And I actually plan on firing that one back up here in about a month to start getting legs on it again. So my point is, this is possible. Anybody can do it. Travis did it right away last year. There were other winners too. So this is totally, totally doable. So this year, what's cool is we're going to have a leaderboard, right? So September 1st, so it'll be next week, we're going to launch the challenge officially. We've got kind of a landing page and a website. My team has been working on it. Kate Connolly, if anybody knows her, Tammy from our team. There's a bunch of people on my team that have been working super hard on this. If any of you are watching, thank you so much. You guys have done fantastic. We've got kind of a leaderboard this year, so you're going to be able to actually go on, sign up, things like that. We're going to be able to link to your account. We're going to be able to display your progress towards the goal. So we're going to show you SKUs. SKUs is just like the designs, the products, that kind of thing. Number of units sold, and we're going to keep kind of a point system so that we can kind of have some friendly competition amongst one another. Keep in mind, you're not really competing against each other. This is just to spur each other on, that kind of thing. And really, I know I'm motivated like this. If I'm like number 10 on this list and I see somebody's got like, 3 times as many designs as I do, I find that it's like a kick in the pants. I just want to get up and like get after it. So that's how I work. Another thing we're going to do, we're going to have weekly Zoom calls. It's all completely free, by the way. We're going to have weekly Zoom calls. So every week, you're going to be able to hop on a call with anybody else that's partaking in the challenge, and we're just going to sit there and hang out. Travis is going to join a few. I'm going to be in there. So Jim from the media buying team will be on a handful. Zappy will be on some. We'll kind of rotate in and out of it, but we're all going to have these Zoom calls, and they're just like open office hours, right? You're going to be able to show up. We're going to be able to talk about business, talk about what the hangups are, give each other tips, tricks, things like that. The idea is that you're going to have a tribe of people, a community of people you're going to be able to partake in the challenge with. And then, and yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Like that's one of the things that sets ShineOn apart from everywhere else. We actually have a community here. We have a family here. We realize we're not competing against each other. We're really competing against people going to Target or Walmart or wherever else to buy their gifts every single year. We believe a high tide raises all ships. And that's what it's all about. So you're going to have a community of people that you're going to be able to help. You're going to be able to do this with, and that's going to help kind of drive that kind of mutual accountability, right? Because you're not going to want to let those around you down and fall in the leaderboard for sure. Another thing is I'm going to be shouting it out on my Coffee with Michaels, right? So folks that I see are doing well, I'm going to bring some attention to you. Maybe we'll throw some swag your way. Maybe we'll have some special prizes here and there. Don't really know yet. And then if I see some folks have signed up and haven't done anything, you can guarantee I'm going to be looking at you in my Coffee with Michaels as well. I expect action out of each and every one of you, especially if you sign up. And with that, let's get to some Q&A. What do you say, everybody? Let's get to some Q&A. So let me bring Travis and I back up, and let's see what questions we have. Any questions you have, drop them in your comments. Drop them in your comments, in the comments, and we'll get to them. All right, let's look here.
There's the comments.
Yeah, it's, they're in StreamYard here. I don't know if you can see them on your end.
I was in private chat there, but now there's a comments tab.
All right. So first of all, we have someone that says you're the GOAT.
Thank you.
Let's see. The skills that pay the bills. That's right. Do you suggest Google Shopping, Travis?
I like Google Shopping, especially, I start with Facebook ads always for my testing, but then if the design starts doing well, like I mentioned earlier, we'll put it into other traffic streams. So we will do a Google ad. And I typically, if I'm on a Shopify store, I always have a shopping smart ad going for all the products anyways. And it's just constantly optimizing. Google's very good about optimizing over a long period of time, but it's not scaling. Like Facebook, you can scale super quick, but Google, you can get really good prices on a drip number of sales over time. So for winners, it's great because I'll make sales for like years on a product that's just kind of sitting there. Other than that, I haven't done much Google Shopping. It's not typically my opening force, but if it's working with any traffic stream, I put more money into it.
So I didn't ask you earlier, why do you start with your Facebook ads?
Well, it's the quickest way to test, quickest way to get enough traffic in and eyeballs in to give me an indicator of yes or no. Google ads, like I said, is a slow drip. YouTube ads would be the same thing. Etsy is organic traffic, so you're relying more on search engine optimization and activity on your products in your store. So Facebook ads allows you to get pretty much a yes or no within 2 days. So that's how we like to move forward.
It shortens that feedback loop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Facebook user says, do you use video ads?
No, not for print on demand, really. I've tried a few, but I don't think I've ever had one that's really taken off for me. It's mostly just been a very standard image, usually just what was given default by ShineOn, straight onto the image. Make sure the design is easy to read. Remember, design is everything, and the phrase is everything. So whatever your design or your ad style is, they got to be able to read that and get that emotional hit to be able to take any action. If you're like snapshotting on a video really quick, they're not going to ever get that emotion. Maybe if you recorded a high quality video that told a story, an emotional story, but that's like way too much to put into any ad. So only picture images for my ads, especially the testing phase.
Yeah, our media buying team is actively testing with video ads right now. And one of the things they found some amount of success with is they will basically what they do is they it's a little tough to explain, but it's all UGC with like a phone. And what they do is they have the jewelry box there and they kind of pan around the jewelry box and it opens up. And it's usually the Lux box. So it's got the light.
Right.
So there's like some movement, It opens up and then they read the phrase. So it zooms in, and when it zooms in, like they try to hold real still. So it's almost like an image. And then a voice comes on and reads the phrase. And usually
I can see that. Yeah.
The way we're trying to do it right now is the voice would be like the voice of the receiver of the gift. So we've tested this with the daughter niche. And so we'll have Tammy in our office. She's awesome, by the way. She'll actually read the phrase, but she reads it like she's receiving it.
Nice.
So she's like, to my daughter.
Yeah.
And then she reads it. And at the end, she's like, oh, thanks, Dad. It's like perfect. Right?
Yeah.
So they're experimenting with that. So based on our results, we'll share it with the whole community. Yeah. But they're still working.
I always thought we had, a lot of the testimonials for that design that was a hit, or people saying how they cried when they received it or when the girl received it. And I never did it, but I always wanted to tell them, send me videos, like record people opening it. And then that could be just your opening, like 5 to 10 seconds is like 3 or 4 people opening and crying. And then it pans to the design. So you can then just replace that design over and over.
I think this one's going to crush again this year.
Yeah. Oh, I think it will too. This is when women are having babies. So it's like, it hits in spurts,
Yeah, nice, dude. I love it. All right, so for this is a long one. For Q4 and the 100, 100, 100 challenge, do we stick mostly with launching standard evergreen images and phrases for our designs, or do we start creating and testing tons of Christmas-related images and phrases, like with Merry Christmas, ? Gotcha. What do you think of that?
I go mostly broader the better, because that means I'll be able to sell longer and more. So if I sell husband to wife and it's hot during the Q4, I'm still going to be able to sell that January just as good, and especially February with Valentine's Day. And then with birthdays or anniversaries or, whatever's popping up, we can sell that. If we dial it into Merry Christmas, then you're only going to have a 2-month window or whatever of selling that, and it'll be a max. Now you can launch it again next year on Christmas, but again, it's that window. So I don't discourage doing these type of designs, but I would do it as a very small percentage. So out of the 100, maybe like 3 to 5 are Christmas themed, and not even that many. I would do like 2 or 3. So
yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. I like to stay more kind of evergreen. Mm-hmm. Now, if I have a phrase that's popping off, what I'll sometimes do is I'll kind of modify the design to be a little bit Christmassy to see if that kind of gives her a boost.
Exactly.
And sometimes that's as simple as adding like red and gold kind of glints and stuff like that to it. but I typically try not to mess with the phrase because I want that phrase to sell for me at any given time, right?
Yeah. There's no problem when you have something that's taking off to do variations. So you can do a Christmas variation of your winning design that you only sell for a 2-month period that has the jingle bells or the candy canes or the snowflakes or whatever. We've done that before as well. So same way as just crossing over niches. When you have a good design or concept working, you can often, change just a few words to hit a few other niches that are very related or micro niches of that niche.
Yeah, totally. All right. Here's a question. Can phrases be in other languages? So I'm going to answer that yes. But now my question to Travis is, what's your experience running internationally? Have you ever done some ran e-commerce in other languages, like in Europe and things like that?
Yeah, it's a very, compared to hitting the US and the typical market, it's a very untouched market typically. And it's another scaling tactic that I highly recommend when you have a design that's working in concept, get them translated and then sell them and market them in those countries. We did that at the very end of the program when I was doing the 100-day challenge last year. And it was just the very end, but the international sales started to really go off, but then my ad account got shut down. So that's kind of when I had to reassess. I never came back to the international sales. And I had noticed lately, most of my sales on the Google ads is the international side, where it's just finding your buyers out there. So,
we are actually launching in Amsterdam. We're aiming for October is like a go live. Yeah. And one of the cool things is we're going to have faster shipping, right? In Amsterdam, it should be cheaper. Don't quote me on that quite yet.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like 2 to 5 business days anywhere inside of Western Europe.
Awesome.
Which is going to be pretty sweet. And the other thing that's cool is anytime I've seen a seller hit something in Europe, they can ride it for quite a while, right? Because there's no competition.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And I would imagine CPMs are lower. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to get sales because these products are still very new to that market. So we're really excited about that this Q4. So stay tuned for that as well.
Nice.
All right. Here's one. How do you choose which necklace to use for your phrases?
I know in the early days of when I was testing, I would typically have a phrase and I test all the different necklaces. That was when I first started playing around with the ShineOn necklace boxes. And that was mostly to give me an idea of, again, a template. Which necklace got the best response in my 10 different tests of different designs. So that gave me an idea. Okay, well, I'll use, and it was typically like the alluring necklace or the interlocking hearts. Those are my 2 and my opening test. So that kind of gave me just the push to use those necklaces in my future design templates. And then when I had winners or things taking off, I would test other variations, and sometimes they would do well. A lot of times they wouldn't take off. So it just kind of, again, the phrase is everything. And that we know the design piece or the actual product necklace is high quality. So you don't have to worry about that. It's more about where does this pendant fit? Where some of them with like the hearts, you don't want to give a son to mom type of design that you would go husband to wife. I'm sure you've talked about that. Just where you have more romantic ones and others that are more dad to daughter.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm kind of trying to scan the questions here. So I did notice the last part of this is, does it make sense to test the same phrase with different necklaces? Personally, as long as I found that as long as the necklace you chose for the phrase generally fits, you don't gain much by switching the necklace. Typically. Let's see. How much money do you spend for each design to test?
I typically will go, if I'm having a designer create it, it's going to be about $20 to $30 typically. And then I will go 2 times profit margin. So I spend about $70 to $75 on ads just for that opening test. And then that's roughly $100 if I'm outsourcing everything for each individual design. Again, you can do the design yourself, and you could test with less too if you want to be more strict. But that's typically my consistent plan.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I usually say 2 times my break-even cost per purchase. Mm-hmm. That's tough to explain to people all the time, so I usually say $75 to $80.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brand new to ShineOn. Can I do a Shopify Lite? Yes, should be able to. Do you still get some retargeting and upsells with your own domain? Yeah, if you use the custom domain, you'll get our retargeting is still going to work for you on Google and Facebook, and you can use all the upsells and things like that. So yes. Let's see here. Mauricio says he's going to be on the leaderboard. Again, we got those chickens, and then what we refer to as ice chickens, penguin. Yes, Mauricio. Let's do it, man.
Do it.
Let's see. Just looking for a good question here. Here's a good one. What days of the week and time of day are best to advertise on Facebook?
Mostly I like to start typically Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are my launch days if I'm going to choose a day, if I had to. And weekends are typically not best. Again, it depends on the niche. And also, there's no reason not to launch. You don't have to wait till Tuesday. If you got designs and you're trying to find your winner, it's more important to launch rather than wait. So just get the numbers out there consistently. If you have a good design, it's going to sell on Saturday, the same it's going to sell on Tuesday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is most buyer activity on social media. So you just have those statistically better shot of people that are going to take that action. So that's typically how it works.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday has always been my best days as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Have you tried TikTok?
I've not done too much TikTok. I played with it a little bit, but not with print on demand. I did some e-com sales, and it was very hot early on, but it's, a whole nother social media network, and I don't really want to learn a whole nother one.
Yeah, I've heard kind of mixed things about it. I've heard that it's that product market fit like it is anywhere. It's just once you get it dialed in, you're good, but it can be tricky kind of figuring it out.
There's huge potential in it, but it's not necessary for my plan right now. It's completely out of whack with what typical content I will create. So it's like learning a whole new language. So I'm not really interested in moving into it.
Yep. Here's one. Do you use rules for the ad? So I think they're referring to like the automatic rules.
Definitely.
And stuff.
100%. Because once you're like actually launching a lot of ads or you got a lot of products going, you don't want, you will want to watch it early, but once you've done it 1,000 times, you'd rather just let the automatic rules kind of shut it off for you. And it'll also take that emotion out of it because then you'll have your metrics set so that the rules will do its job rather than you being like, oh, I should keep it on another $50 or whatever it may be. So I definitely use rules to shut things off when they're not profiting. I'll do all the scaling or duplicating and increasing budgets myself, but definitely we have stop losses on everything.
Yeah. And it's more helpful when you know your niche too. Because you know what all your KPIs
exactly. You know your numbers. That's the thing. Each KPI of clicks and add to carts and purchases. Then you can just launch thousands of ads and they'll all get shut off early if they're not working, if you got the right metrics.
Totally. All right. I think this is going to be our last one. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here. So thanks for the insane insights, Travis. Do you have any lifestyle habit building tips to gear up for Q4?
Habit stuff. Just know that you can change your life at any moment. Print on demand did that for both Michael and I. That was really the catalyst. I was doing things, having success here and there, but it was just one design that all of a sudden was like, holy crap, like this is going to be different. So it's the same thing now, and just know that and take action. Lifestyle advice is hard to give. I don't know if my lifestyle is even good, but keep your exercise, your sleep, and take that action, and then it'll pay off in the long run. You can be sitting on the beach drinking your Mai Tais for a very long time if you do it right.
Yeah. So look, what I tell everybody is this, man. Q4 is here. The amount of opportunity here is it's hard to accurately sum up, right? It's incredible. It's unfathomable. You cannot even imagine the incredible amount of sales that take place in Q4. New millionaires are made literally every Q4. New e-commerce entrepreneurs to boot. So it's It's unbelievable the time we're about to get into. I'd say this kind of jokingly, kind of like half joking, half serious. You should seriously reevaluate how much sleep you need moving into Q4 because you will miss it. It is going to be here and it's going to be gone, and you're going to be waiting until the next Q4. Like, you will miss it if you do not start taking action, forming the habits right now. I would not wait another day. So the 100, 100, 100 challenge. You have 100 days roughly between now and the shipping cutoff for Q4. The goal is to try to test 100 designs, 100 phrases between now and then. It doesn't have to be on Facebook, but Facebook is really where it's at. It's a king of scale. It could be on Etsy, could be on Amazon, things like that. And the goal is that you find one winner that takes you to $100,000 in revenue. Travis did it last year, and he is still getting sales even now. He found his winner. He's still milking it even now. And that's what you can do when you set yourself out and you take this kind of action. So everybody, keep your eyes peeled. September 1st, I'm going to be dropping a post. We're going to have a registration page. Again, we're going to have a leaderboard, weekly Zoom calls, all this kind of stuff. You aren't going to want to miss it. So Travis, really appreciate you joining today. I'm going to put you on the spot here real quick. If you could give anybody like one tip, right? Or you go back and talk to yourself 10 years ago about this whole kind of e-commerce game. What's kind of one big tip you'd give yourself as a newbie starting out?
I mean, it's got to be just to take action. There's so much going on in your head when you're a newbie. You doubt yourself so much. You think it's not going to work, whatever plan it is. You just got to kind of find that one system, that one or two people that you see are having success and aren't just trying to sell you things one after another. And they're trying to provide you good, helpful, just systems. And then you just follow that system and you learn. You have to optimize and adapt and improve on your own at every step. That's your responsibility. But if you follow these guys who know what they're doing, and that's Michael and these guys here at ShineOn, they provide overwhelmingly enough quality content for you to get started on the right track. I mean, the system I used in my program was literally what Michael was doing. Yes, I have years of experience doing it, but it's just his system was so laid out perfectly. That's all you had to do is rinse and repeat. So it's the action, get it out of your head. Even if either your first 10 don't work, you got to move on. Think that 100. It might be number 100 that takes it off. So don't stop at 99 because you're going to regret that if you quit. The only people that lose at this game are those who quit.
100%.
No one else loses unless you quit. So that's it.
You're one product away. You're one product away from finding your winner. And if you don't give up for long enough, you win.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, Travis, thanks so much for joining. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this week. We will see you again next week on Coffee with Michael. Hope everybody has a great weekend and take care.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Michael here again. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And there's one more thing I want you to do. Check out the links in the description below. I want you to look at the link to ShineOn.com where you can sign up and become a seller with us today. It literally takes 60 seconds and it could change your life. Secondly, I want you to go to our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce group on the planet. We're constantly sharing important tips, tricks, and things like that that can help you on your seller journey and level up your e-commerce game. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.